Chimwina Alana wabanzano endaseka dansa balipundile Alo ila polisi ana sindero ipa kuichira muri sacha ala Wabutola mukafe kubati ni Solontoni wewe wationto Matai, temukalale nafiadilwe mwembona macheke chokulepa andi bonali kwata kwesu chabanga bana banomba bashaishi boko bafuma betinda byokulumbanya ali kwata nechilumba umumone boy kwesu febabele bakusamba panika mwembona kufuala matai temukalale nafiadilwe mwembona macheke chokulepa andi bonali kwata kwesu chabanga bana banumba basiaisi boko bafuma betinda byokulumbanya ali kwata nechilumba umumane boye kwesu febabele nokusamba panika umumane boye kwesu Febabele nokusamba panika nemfumushisana shakuteka Bamwe wae bakalamba Kwabashirisha kulundu Nibamwasa konde na shitembo Shimbishirisha kabamwe ulu Nibambuluwe na bambulomwe Nemfumushisana shakuteka Bamwe wae bakalamba Kwabashirisha kulundu Nibamwasa kombe na shitembo Shimbishirisha kabamwe ulu Nibambuluwe na bambulomwe Kama na basongola meno Bena bakwabo nitambi Mama na basongola meno Bena bakwabo nitambi Mama na bambolo tokumenso Nabo bene kwabo nitambi Mama na bambolo tokumenso Nabo bene kwabo nitambi Mama ne misisi ya pemu Bena bakwabo nitambi Mama ne misisi ya pemu Bena bakwabo nitambi Nangu batika wile kisungu Mukalale mwena temulyabo Nangu batika wile kisungu Mukalale mwena temulyabo Alapumu mwanebo yekwesu Febabele nokusamba panika Ninombanu mbulene mikoa Ekwisi vefyo na ikala Nombanu mbulene mikoa Ekwisi vefyo na ikala Batatane bubena mumba Batani nekisiki uwali Mamayo bena balumbu Nanguntiri abena kasimu Nombo kukonga nentambi Nemwine ndimwina kasimu Kumumba nebo ekwesu Febabele nokusamba panika Inombanu mbulene mikoa Ekwisi vefyo na ikala Nombanu mbulene mikoa Ekwisi vefyo na ikala Batatane bubena mumba Batani nekisiki uwali Mamayo bena balumbu Nanguntiri abena kasimu Nombo kukonga nentambi Nemwine ndimwina kasimu Kumumba nebo ekwesu Febabele nokusamba panika Umumane ekwesu Febabele nokusamba panika nemfumushisana shakuteka Bamwe wae bakalamba Kwabashirisha kumulundu Nibamwasa kombe na shitembo Shimbishirisha kabamwe ulu Nibambuluwe na bambulomwe Nemfumushisana shakuteka Bamwe wae bakalamba Kwabashirisha kumulundu Nibamwasa kombe na shitembo Shimbishirisha kabamwe ulu Nibambuluwe na bambulomwe Nilechita bakashikumushita ofishime. Nango wipa yenso fukanga liye. Nilechita bakashikunota ofishime. Nango wipa yenso fukanga liye. Nilechita bakashikunota ofishime. Yachitana msonda aipa ya munume wakwe. Ati wapare na tembo, tembo amukanga. Yachitana msonda aipa ya munume. Ati wapare na tembo, tembo amusenuka. Walia.
Starting an online store is easier than you think. Let me show you how to quickly open one with Shopify.
Kioluteno akasuba nechulo akatulefilwa munange wa mitengo yafukumbe nayichilamo ishibikishafye amajushi mufundo w'abantu ayarenga tukwebe mayo tulombeleko kuri batata abuteko aturundireko pia imikanire yashuka ekirenga kulefilwa nokusumba bantu balesho aranakishuka bane amwishirecha nokachayingiriwa nesala paniki umushebani Mutengo wabunga nakulina ukutila mazibikejo nabandika mabunga ishibikishafye amajushi mufundo wabano ayarenga tukwebe mayo tulombele kuri batata ababuteko baturundile kolupia imikanire yashuka ekirenga tulembirwa nokusumba bali kwabeshu Alamayo kande inabatata mabuteko atuveleleko nise kalunde pipi batushireko nakuibarana okufana okulwano okupepa emunando pitikulukuya wino antisada ayatira moila leto musibanya Alamayo kande inabatata mabuteko batuveleleko Kalunde pipi, atushireko nakuibarana ukufwana okulwano okupepa indamunandu ikikulukula wino antisada ayatira moila leto musibanya
That can feel
Nalino munandi twaleangana nakwe Nalino munandi twaleangana nakwe Umunandi ukulala twalela na bose Umunandi ukulala twalela na bose Umunandi nokuja twaleya ke bose Umunandi nokuja twaleya ke bose Lebe kia mupapa bane Nasame munandi Nini mulukumu Lebe kia mupapa Nasame munandi Nini mulukumu Ishida mulewo kwa bushi kupakati Ishida mulewo kwa bushi kupakati Kumanana limwene lelonjo sumine Kumonana limwene nomansha sumine Nafikile mupepi na ipushio munandi Nafika mupepi na ipushio munandi Nishule kuwa ya mune Nefa ya munino Kusonde kamoka Nishule kuwa ya Nefa ya munino Kusonde kamoka Naebeli abakazi mukazi wandi muka Naebeli abakazi na mwanza muka Bele kwa mamulino uleke baleya Bela kwa mamulino uleke baleya Abakashi mabuazika Manjebele chibe pachimo Shaka baleya Abakashi mabuazika nabo Manjebele chibe Shaka baleya Wangala wangala bushe
Good evening, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Hope you also enjoyed this amazing music from PK Chala. Well, we have been waiting for Honorable Munsanje from Mbabala Constituency to come and join us. I think we'll get started. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching us from. Welcome to TV Wakwetu, and I'm your host, Linda Banks. I have literally, apart from enjoying the music, I've been enjoying looking at the comments. I'm just going to go to the comments, and I think we've had a couple of our Wakwetu team members responding to some of the viewer comments, which have been hilarious. Now, I must say, some of you are very generous with your insults, which is just fascinating. I find it really fascinating. And I understand Dr. Munsha is very patient with most of you guys and not blocking a lot of you, but I'm afraid I'm not that patient. So I feel I'm going to be blocking an awful lot of people. It's something you've probably never heard on Vakwetu, but it seems like you've outlived your welcome. And I can see Mwela's been busy responding to people. Let's just have a look at some of them. Let's just put a few comments live here. To be on a useless page, it means you're equally useless. Mwelwa, well done. Birds of the feather, same feather flock together. That is quite funny. Let's see a few more. Joseph Helicopter. Well, Honorable Joseph Munsanje is an honorable man, so we won't even get into that. Let's have a look. I could not help but laugh at quite a lot of comments, but I'm afraid some of you might be seeing Vakwetu for the very last time because I've got the controls. Dr. Munsha is not here right now. And by the time he comes back, you'll find a few of you have disappeared. Anyway, welcome to TV Vakwetu. I'm your host, Linda Banks. And as we wait for Honorable Munsanje, if he joins us, if he manages to join us, I know he's had an event in his constituency, and I was hoping he would tell us a little bit about that. But in the meantime, I just wanted to talk about how of late there has been an influx of very unfortunate decisions by most of our leaders, starting from the Minister of Foreign Affairs, then the recent one, the Kachasu, people are calling it the Kachasu Gate. Having said that, wasn't it wonderful to actually see that when our leaders make wrong decisions, they're actually able to apologize. I thought that was quite refreshing. We haven't seen much of that. It seems like a very frowned upon thing. I remember Director Tabo Kawana had said a few things about people who had kind of presented their wealth or what they possess before getting into government positions. And you guys were very generous with your criticisms. Again, Zambians were so brilliant at this, so good at criticizing and insulting. I wish we could just tone down a little bit. But then again, it's freedom of speech, isn't it? Freedom of speech seems to have gone mad. Director Tabo Kawana did come up on Bakwetu on the Linda Banks show on Sunday, and he apologized for having said, having said this to the press, that if you want to find out which permanent secretaries or members of parliament have declared what they own, also called the lifestyle audit, to the office of the filer, and you were up in arms and criticized him, but the man was honorable enough to come out and say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said what I'd said. Perhaps he should have said what he said, but maybe in a different way. I think that was a big issue. He apologized. Now, when was the last time you saw a Zambian leader, apologize? I want to hear your comments, especially those people who are very generous with their comments. Let's have a look. Let's just take a look at some of these. We have McFarland, my MP Honorable Munsanje. Is it possible for someone who is in Lusaka to apply for youth empowerment? Okay, we'll get into that if the Honorable manages to make it. Mr. Chilufya, good evening. Mr. Chilufya, you there? Oh, fake pastors spreading rumors. You guys are very random. I don't know what you're actually talking about. So I wanted us to talk about what has been happening in the press in regards to Honorable Gary Nkombo, what you've thought about what he did or said, and what happened afterwards. Okay, let's have a look. Mwelwa is literally
Are you asking me a question?
Yes, I am. Welcome to the program, Mr. Chilufya. I'm literally just looking at some of the comments.
Thank you so much, Madam Banks.
Yes. So I was just talking about the incident with Honorable Nkombo, what people are calling the Kachasu Gates. What do you remember about Kachasu? I think you guys talked about it briefly yesterday on last night's program.
Okay, just hold on. Give me a second.
Be ready, Mr. Chilufya, when you come on air.
Yeah. Can I talk now?
Yes, of course.
Can I talk now?
Yes, of course you can.
Yeah. So So what happened? What happened yesterday was unfortunate, but the good thing you said, he apologized, but it can happen to anybody. You know, we are all humans. We can err, but what was doing was not bad, but the way he did it, it was wrong.
Yeah.
Imagine if he found people who were selling marijuana So which means he would have asked the mother and the children to smoke marijuana. So I think that what he should have done is to tell the people what you're doing is not good. And as a government, we need to find another business for you guys to do. Maybe we'll support you through the CDF. This business is illicit, and until it's regulated, you cannot be doing this business. And also educate them the consequences of people drinking cachasu, because cachasu, the quality control is not good. There's no quality control. It's not regulated, and as a result, people just drink it without knowing what they are drinking, and then the consequences are there. Kidney problems and other things. So I think, Mr. Nkombo did a good thing. He apologized, but Belinda, you said how many ministers in the PF would apologize, and so let's move on. That's in the past. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's a very important point you raised there. We had the honeybee scandal, we had the fire tenders, we had so many things that had transpired, and leaders were very pompous. But also, I remember several shows back, I mentioned that this is a brand new breed of Zambian voters, a completely different electorates that we seem to have on our hands right now. So if you mess up one too many times, they'll just
Did you get me, Belinda?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. I did. So it's very important, actually, that our leaders have got this dose of humility that Honorable Nkombo possessed and portrayed even. So that was really good. Mwelwa, welcome to the program. And I've been seeing you in the comments, literally fighting back. Dr. Munsanje is not here. I was just saying, I don't seem to possess the grace that the doc possesses. So I've been blocking left, right, and center. What's been going on? Is it wild? What's going on in Zambia?
I don't know if it's the weather. I know the temperatures have dipped, so maybe it's to do with the weather. Or there's a full moon. Maybe there's a full moon and people are triggered.
People are triggered. What's been going on?
I know, because I noticed like the first comment was somebody saying this is a useless page. So I'm wondering, well, if it's a useless page, what are you doing on a useless page? Birds of the feather, we're one and the same then, isn't it?
That is hilarious. Frankie, welcome to the program. Mr. Saliki, are you there? I think Frank has just disappeared for a minute. We have
I'm here.
Are you there? Frankie, you all right? Hi.
Hello. Hang on, I'm in trouble here.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Well, lunch break, we've been talking like 2 hours, so you can't say how are you. Pretend like it's the first time we're saying hello.
I've never spoken to you before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. When I saw the video, I have to say I could not believe my eyes. And I think it's this thing though. Is apologize is really nice, and I think it's a thing that we have to address. It's a thing that we treat the poor, the way people are, the way they treated. I think it was one roof or another, because the people who have stolen so much money are not being treated that way, and another who is just feeding his family was then mad to drink. Even let's give you drink all of this for what you did. And I think there's certain things in work, in what we do, some of this, you kind of do it and you think, oh, that was not a great thing to do. I could have handled it better. But I thought in that time that was handled terribly. That was terrible. Kind of watched that and you just thought, wow, these are the poor people. These are the people who are suffering. These are the people who have suffered under the old regime. And these are the people and didn't the sport like that. I think we have to work out on how we treat the poor people, and then the other thing comes across. It might come across within his inexperience. I don't know if you followed Gary Nkombo so much.
Like Professor said he's one of my favorite ministers.
Yeah,
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but definitely in the opposition, he was like borrowing from my Lamba Mwisho. He was a force to reckon with.
when he was forced to reckon with. But so then it comes, yeah, and it's in everything that we do. We kind of cover, do we need to have a training for our ministers of what they need to do?
We're going to touch that with Honorable Munsanje. Don't preempt that. He's here. He's in the background. I've put him choir because he's late.
yeah. So if you touched on that, I think for me that was a big thing in what all that is done is we need where we go. We train our diplomats because we want them to represent us properly wherever they go. And we need a system where our ministers are trained, and we have to create a system where the minister is not the one going in the field. So what he was doing there was enforcing a law.
What you just said there, quite poignant. The minister of the health minister, Honorable Sylvia Masebo, she's been everywhere.
Yeah.
In rural areas, Soweto, Matero, whatever. It's not her duty to be doing that. It's lovely that she does that. You just pointed out these ministers should not be the ones to actually go there and have a look. It's great that they do that. But this is why a government is like a body, a human body. Their arms and legs and ears. I think Honorable Munsanje touched on this. I'm hoping we're going to be able to empty this, sort of preempt this and dissect. So that's a very important.
Because what you've got the ministers. Then the ministers then have got under them the permanent secretaries who are then supposed to go and deliver what has been. And the permanent secretaries, they have to be everybody else who does what needs to be done to make sure that it comes. And for me, it kind of comes across as if I'm a minister and I have to go in the fields to try and make sure I do the work that needs to be done. What I'm trying to say is I don't really trust everyone else is going to be doing what they can do.
Exactly. You and I know, and we've discussed this on many occasions, the power. I love it. I've told everyone in Backwards, I exist on the power of delegation. Down my sort of department, I have people who are brighter than me, and they do a phenomenal job. And when, as a team, everything works out, you look good as a leader. So instead of Honorable Garin Kombo going there in the grassroots to do all the hard work, there are people who are supposed to be doing that, and then he should be focusing on the main things that he has to deal with. I'm going to introduce Honorable Joseph Munsanje. Now, Frankie, we have literally stolen into your time. Now, tell me, what do you want us to do? Because Honorable Munsanje is supposed to grovel. He needs to grovel. He is an honorable member of parliament. There he is. Honorable Munsanje, good evening.
Just go with what you want.
How are you?
We're all right, thank you. We'll get to you in a little while. Frankie, what do you want to do? Because this is your time.
Good.
Right, so I was supposed to start at 7:30.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So just go with. I will.
Okay.
The joy of modern life, and this is like live TV.
Yeah. So the next question.
He's disappeared.
Thank you.
Honorable Munsanje, good evening.
Evening, Linda. How are you doing?
What's your speech going to be like? I'm not very forgiving. I think I've told many people. What's your excuse for being this late, sir?
Today, actually, I had a major development. Unfortunately, I came back from the field. Like you, if you were watching my Facebook page, I was all over there today. And when I came back, I found that my car had run flat at where we landed. We had left the car there. And so I had to now look for a belt.
Honorable.
Yes.
Right, Fancy. So just go with the flow. So I was supposed to start at 7:30, but if you go over,
You are a very generous man. Thank you very much. I owe you.
Yeah.
I owe you. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to drop out.
Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. So honorable, you see how technical these things are. If we, myself and Mr. Chilufya are like the brains of this thing. We are very anal when it comes to timing. Things got to start at a particular time. So, but I've been following you throughout the day. So in as much as I'm giving you a hard time, I completely understand because I know you've been working. I have been following everything that you have been doing, even though I was lecturing myself, but I was kind of break time, coffee break. I was seeing what you were doing.
Oh, okay, brilliant. That's very nice. Yeah, that's very nice. So unfortunately, my car broke down. We landed at the Margari fields and trying to get into the car, it couldn't start. I had to call a mechanic and they took the battery and the belt away and they went for good. So
you are a member of parliament. You should not have cars that are dodgy.
Yeah, well, something happened.
So,
which was
I know the
unexpected.
president is very methodical and he's trying to cut costs. Surely he should be able to buy you a car that works.
Yeah, definitely. He's fixing that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for making it. I know you're very committed, and it's really lovely that you've managed to get through to the program. And now I'm digging into Frankie's time, and we've got another program starting. So I will dive straight in because it's very important for us to highlight the work that you are doing. First things first, we were talking about the influx of unfortunate decisions by you, our leaders. I'm lumping you in the same category because you're all our leaders. So it started off with, over the Easter holiday. In fact, actually, I really did frown upon this because the Easter holidays, for me, I find Easter as one of the most sacred holidays in the Christian calendar. And that was kind of, it was sort of trifled with by this incident that occurred with the minister, the foreign affairs minister. And it literally just kind of disturbed, I think is the word I'm looking for, disturbed the whole Easter holiday. It's supposed to be sacred, reflective, and prayerful. And there was all these unfortunate things going on. So it's been like a series of unfortunate decisions by our leaders. And then came one of my favorite leaders, Honorable Nkombo, and his Kachasu Gate. What is your view on that? My question is really, are our leaders getting training for before they get into power, or is it just like Chindoventoe? Are they on their own and just kind of try and find their way through?
Well, such kind of, I think it's more about situations, like we explained, and later on the president explained during the press conference. Minister Kakuo gave us his explanation, and now nobody has come up with a contrary explanation. He was just doing a normal thing which you and me as citizens would be doing. You're going about your business over a weekend, trying to buy some cement or a premix or whatever. And we all do these things. We go to the shops and the like, and if somebody mistakenly finds you at the shop, should really become an offense. It should not become an offense. So like we explained, and the president later on explained, the minister explained that, well, I was just buying my cement and they saw me, they recognized me, they gave me a gift bag where there was a pen, a diary, and that's it, So there was, I think, we cannot term it as unfortunate decision because unless we say that ministers should not be going to any shops to buy anything, they should literally stay home and the office and everything should be done for them. But, they're citizens. I've been in other countries where I've seen the prime minister queuing up to watch a movie, and that should be the life we should allow people to also enjoy their time as citizens.
But there was the Chinese ambassador in the middle. It was like a car park. Yes,
Yeah.
I refer to it as a series of unfortunate decisions, but do you
Yeah.
think he should have gone alone? Perhaps he should have taken someone. Yes, he's entitled to live his life and, you know, go about his business.
Yeah.
But is there a code of conduct protocol that they have to follow? Because you guys, with all due respect, and I know our African culture, elderly people, older people, you don't refer to them as guys, but you, our leaders, you've been
Yeah.
thrust into a completely different scenario. You're not normal human beings. You're our leaders. You're
Yeah.
expected to adhere to a certain code of conduct.
Yeah, in terms of, I mean, the orientation, probably maybe some of the orientation did happen for both cabinet and ministers and permanent secretaries. They had an orientation. So if they need to move with somebody for such kind of things, maybe it was covered or maybe it was not covered. But I do remember that there was an orientation at Murongosh for cabinet ministers and permanent secretaries. So that's something which already happened. And I think, like all of us, we are learning, all of us, even us non-cabinet members, are learning that, you don't need to be found with the ambassador near you or whatever, that kind of thing. So we're learning. And coming to the latest issue of Honorable Nkombo, again, it was a situational issue where Honorable Nkombo was hit, by what he saw, in terms of what was happening with the Kachasu brewing. And on the emotion of it, he basically acted the way he acted. And upon reflection, he found that he needed to apologize, which he already did. He apologized, and he had time with the family, and it's all now water under the bridge because it's done, and he's very busy with his work. He was back in town today, ensuring that Lusaka City is clean, which is one of his major tasks. So he's definitely on the job.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. It was really lovely to see the president actually also engage in that activity, leading by example. I remember one of my followers said, but Linda, you praise singers just out of control. Every leader has engaged in such activities. And I was like, Boris Johnson engages in similar activities, planting trees. I'm very, very passionate about planting trees, the environment and all that sort of, and we praise him. So I said to this person, yes, we praise them and we're praising. What is wrong with us?
Exactly.
When they back on these things, because we praised Kenneth Kaunda, may his soul rest in peace, and we're celebrating the KK Day, and we praise. What's wrong with praising Hakainde Hichilema for the incredible work that he's doing right now?
Exactly. I mean, this is the best leader in the recent times we have had.
Absolutely.
In terms of somebody who is very focused, somebody who is got a very balanced way of thinking, somebody who is an intellectual, somebody who is high integrity, somebody who loves the people and loves the country. You find everything in President Hichilema, and this is a man you cannot question on anything. And Zambians have come to love that this is the kind of person who should lead them and who they are willing to die for, because we all know that he's raised the bar of presidents to the highest level ever. It will be very difficult for all these pretenders around to come anywhere near where President Hakainde has taken the level of presidents. He's taken it to a very high level, whereby it becomes very difficult for the pretenders. Instead, they begin to, that's why, there are checks and balances. They are talking about a shoe, they are talking about this, they can't criticize the policies, and they can't criticize, the indirect side of things. Those are the kind of things which we're saying the bar is too high. Yeah. So it's a very beautiful thing for Mother Zambia.
I think we have just lost Honorable Munsanje, and by what I've learned about him, he probably will be back very soon. Mr. Chilufya, what do you think about what Honorable Munsanje just said about President Hakainde Hichilema?
No, thank you, Madam Banks. Yeah, HH, I think is gonna go into the Zambian history as one of the greatest leaders.
Yeah.
If he continues in the manner he's going. Yeah, but again, not only HH, it will also require good and innovative leaders working with him.
Yeah.
And, we can't judge now whether, I know HH, the HH I know is a great man. He should be in the class of the Kaundas, and even over in his first 5 years term and Mwanawasa. So it's too early to judge, but if he's chosen the good people, I think this team is gonna go as after 2 terms, and the way they are fighting corruption and the way they are doing things. I think these are gonna go into our books as heroes and legends of
absolutely. What do you think he needs to do now with all the mistakes or pitfalls that these members of parliament and permanent secretaries may be experiencing? What do you think the president needs to do? Do you think he needs to support his helpers, destiny helpers, so to speak, publicly, and then castigate them in private? Do you think this is what is happening? Because I've heard quite a few people condemning what he said during the press conference. He should have been harder. He should have condemned what Honorable Kakobo had done. Do you think he's doing the right thing at the moment?
I think he is. As a president, you need to trust people you're working with, and the first thing obviously he did, which is the right thing. Just like remember I was explaining David Cameron. The first thing he did is ask the minister, "What is this I'm hearing?"
Yeah.
And then the minister explains, "This is what happened, my boss." And obviously, the boss will believe that. And this is what he did, which is and you never know. He must have reprimanded him privately.
Yeah. That point you raised there.
You remember Mr. Kakubo was saying he was telling the president, according to the president, he wished he shouldn't have taken it. Yeah, but it was, to me, it was a bad. It was just unfortunate. He was caught in that. But the best he should have done is to say, "Oh, Mr. Ambassador," or whatever, come to the office, bring the president at the office so that we talk. And when the president came to the office, obviously somebody was going to receive it, like a secretary, and then they're going to check it before giving it to him, so that there is transparency. But things happen, and then but Mrs. Banks, one thing, the government has got human resources development, or HR department. They need to start tailoring courses on ethics and code of conduct for these ministers. I'll give you an example.
Dive into that, absolutely.
I'll give you an example. I worked for, just a second. I worked for an organization, a big organization, and auditors come. Both internal and external auditors come. So what they do is auditors pick up certain things relating to break down in controls or ethical issues. So what happens is that, and all those issues, there are trainings that we do all the time. And then, so what happens if there's a complaint on ethical conduct or something? You know what happens? The CEO will say, all the middle managers, they have to go through the course, what you call refresher course, and making sure that they understand their code of conduct and ethics.
Yeah.
So, and this is what the government needs to do with the Kakua incident and Gary Nkombo.
Yeah.
The government now needs to say which course can we give to
exactly.
The
Thank you very much.
On efficacy,
yeah.
So that they know how to conduct themselves in public, how to deal with the with the citizens, etc., etc. Over to you.
Thank you very much. You've just alluded to some of the points that we talked about in the green room last night. I shared with the group that literally after the Gary Nkombo incident, I had a training for the local mayor here in East Sussex, as well as the council employees, where it's a bit like personal development, and they have these trainings every so often, like quarterly. So I'll go to their institution and provide these trainings where you're talking about team building, who should do what, bonding as a team, etiquette. How do you speak to people? How do you speak to your subordinates? How do you make them feel valued? How do you deliver some of these programs that you've been tasked with? So it's just a case of I think having empathy as well is one of those things. Learning some of these soft skills. Sometimes, especially as Africans, we think about all the major things that we have to do, but you forget the soft skills. So it's really important that there's certain trainings that are taking place, especially the refresher ones. I think all of us could do with refresher courses on how to conduct ourselves in a workplace. Honorable Munsanje, you are back, and I knew you'll be back. You've got some incredible tenacity. So, Mr. Trofia, thank you very much. I will put you in the background for the time being. I have got quite a few things that I want to get through with Honorable Munsanje. I wanted to find out what is happening in Parliament. Any new bills or acts of the Public Order Act or Lifestyle Audit that are taking place? I know some people have declared what they own before they get started. Mainly tonight, I want us to focus on your constituents. But before we do this, I want you to take us through certain things. What is happening in Parliament at the moment?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, good. Basically, this is the Parliament is on recess. This is a period when we're doing committee tours. As such, most committees are conducting the oversight role. Parliamentarians are conducting the oversight role, where we go to verify and check that the things that have been reported by various governmental departments are working properly, and they are working, that's the way they are supposed to be working. So you will see that, I think there was a committee in Sorezi, there was a committee in Northwestern, another committee in Eastern Province, I think Committee on Assurances, Committee on Cabinet Matters, and the like. So all these committees are traveling around. My Committee of Transport and Works, we are also traveling in next week, looking at the toll gates in the country, how they are functioning, and all that, So almost every committee is traveling, and Healthy will be traveling the following week, also looking at pharmacies in the country, drug manufacturing, and all that kind of thing. So this is a period we're doing the oversight role or duty as parliamentarians. So we are scattered all over the country, checking on different things.
Yeah, hence why
local government was here. I'm in Choma right now, and local government was here in Choma, also checking on the councils. They also went to Namwara, and I think they went to Livingstone, checking out that the councils are delivering on their mandates and stuff like that.
Fantastic. Yeah. And hence where you were late, and why you were where you were, because you're literally just traveling from one engagement to another. And I was joking, like, I've run out of all the PK Chala songs to play. Can you just run and get yourself over here?
I heard that. I heard that somebody, I think my brother in America, sent me a text to say, where are you? PK Chala songs are finished this side. I will say, okay.
I said I've
I'm
run
gonna
out
try
of
and
PK
get there
Chala
quickly.
songs to come if you don't come. That is interesting. So now,
Yeah.
Honorable Munsanje, on a serious note, I want to find out right from, if you could start from the beginning, what is happening in your constituency? Let's start with development projects that you're working on. What development projects? If you could just tell me, let's say maybe 6.
Yeah, basically, like I mentioned, the what's happening in the constituency is, I think, we can say 2 or 3 pronged. There is the governmental side of work, which we are working on, the Constituency Development Fund processes. That is the processing of scholarships for boarding schools for secondary school children, and the processing of skills training, scholarships for youths that wish to enroll in the skills colleges. So that process is going on. We're almost done so that we can pay for everybody. And then, so there is a process of making corrections where documents are not telling or not inadequate. They're inadequate. Then we are also working on the process of training the ward development committees. They are supposed to be trained. And then, of course, we already received the applications for the community projects. So the process of selecting those to be funded is also going on, including the process for the Youth and Women Empowerment Fund. It's also going on. So as a member of parliament, I'm doing various tours in the constituency to check on a number of services, including meeting with the civil servants and other government workers to support them in their delivery in the constituency, and also dealing with some of the issues that are observed by members of the community, so that we can get the civil servants to work properly. Okay. So we have covered a number of wards doing these meetings for civil servants, and then we also move on to do the meetings with the communities. We are doing a lot of sensitization at various levels. And then, of course, we're also working on the other developmental areas, such as infrastructure development. We are lobbying for the funding for the bridges, which were washed off. We are lobbying for funding for the roads so that they can be fixed. So that is a very active and big task of, chunk of our work. And we also...
Why are you lobbying when you've got the CDF funds?
The funds are not adequate to us to deal with all the needs. For example, one bridge will cost about 3 to 5 million kwacha or more to fix. And CDF project funds is only 15 million kwacha.
That is interesting. That is interesting.
You could only fix maybe... you could only fix maybe 3 bridges, and that's it. And we've got 12 bridges to fix. So it's inadequate. And there are so many other needs other than just the bridges. We've got desks to ensure that every child is seated on a desk. We have to put desks. We have to put water in every village. We've got to deal with the roads. We've got to deal with deep tanks to fight animal diseases. So the needs are so many. That's why I'm very excited with the work we've been doing in the last 2 days with my hometown organization, which is supported by Mr. James Ndambo, a Zambian of Mbabala origin in Mbabala ward, who has helped us. Yesterday, we donated the 12 prefabricated houses to the flood victims, the people who lost their homes during the flooding that happened in December. These homes where I'm sure you saw us cutting the ribbon, giving those and having players in Mbabala. That's wonderful. That's kind of corporate social responsibility that we want to see, that changes people's lives and impacts heavily on people's lives. And then today we basically handed over three or four water pumps, which were handed over, hammer mills, and the like, again, supported by my hometown. Again, these are life-changing actions because the water points change people's lives, as well as the hammer mills. And these communities were also supported with a seed, some cattle for plowing, oxen, that is, a plow, a disky, and a harrow, and the like. So they were fully empowered to become economically viable. So what we are also telling our people is to connect all these things together, because if we use the resources from the hammer mill well, we can actually do other things, such as build a nice, harvest the other water for the animals, build a trough for the animals to be also having water for drinking. And we can also have gardens by all the families, and everybody will have good vegetables, and the nutrition will improve. So it's those kinds of connections which we're asking people to see, that there is an opportunity when something happens like this. So that is also, that kind of non-governmental work is going on, which is complementing government efforts and ensuring that our country is moving forward.
Indeed.
So,
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's really important to note, based on what you've just said, that it's not just the CDF that is going to help bring development in all these areas in Zambia. Private companies, people in diaspora, especially considering people who come from that area. I have a soft spot for the Copper Belt and Lusaka, a particular area in Lusaka. There are so many people who are dotted across the world, across the globe, who are able to help perhaps put people together and galvanize these resources to help or supplement what the government has provided. It's not just the government that is going to bring development to these areas. Now, I actually wanted to find out, let's tackle development work. Why is it important to spend more time on planning before the CDF projects are embarked on? I know you have money that has been given to you, as you mentioned, but I know it's important to have well-trained and skilled people on your team who can be involved in planning and implementing, as well as monitoring. So what sort of things are you doing to ensure that these people are trained?
I think like the adage goes that...
Are they going through as well?
Like the adage says that if you don't plan, any Lord will lead you anywhere. So what we've been doing is to basically plan how these resources can have the highest return, or in terms of human development return or impact based on human development. And human development indicators are basically straightforward indicators: quality health for everybody, quality education, water and sanitation, and now with other things like gender relations and stuff like that. So we're looking at projects that are going to basically impact on human development. And we have to train the ward development committees and other constituency development committees. They have to be trained to be able to understand that certain things which are done for the good. These are the things which are done for the good of the community, because sometimes they may not be understood, or the community may not understand. For example, I was attending a child budgeting and review of CDF supported by Save the Children just last week. And things that come up, for example, if a community puts a play pack, a group puts a play pack for children, this is a human development matter for children, but it may not be a human development matter for adults. So if adults are not trained, they will just grab through it and throw it away and say, no, this is not necessary. We've got bigger things that are more important for us to deal with. And yet, this builds the character of the children in that community and helps them to grow up as good citizens and the like. So that's why we need these trainings that are going to change the life of everybody by virtue of doing projects that are life-changing to all. Yeah.
Yeah. What criteria have you used to select these people who are helping you undertake this project? And do you advertise the positions, particular positions?
No.
And where do you advertise them? Because people don't know where these things are advertised. I seem to have a similar problem, like diaspora say, oh, you guys, where are these jobs advertised? And I'm like, I don't know. So if people want to help in the implementation of the CDF, where are you advertising them? If you're advertising them. Are you advertising them? If so, where?
Yes, there's two forms in terms of CDF. There are projects that are self-managed or by the councils. Those ones don't get advertised. The council goes on to implement. And then there are those where we advertise for as bids, soliciting for bids. And this is where the private sector comes in now to deliver.
But it's a legal requirement that you should advertise these things so that people know. Otherwise, how do they know that these opportunities are available?
It is law to advertise. You know, there are thresholds. Once you hit a certain threshold, I think there are things which you can spend, for example, maybe under 50,000 kwacha. But anything above that, then you know. But I'm not meaning this is the threshold. The threshold could even be 10,000, 5,000 or something. I can't remember what is the threshold for CDF. So there's a threshold. Anything above that has to be advertised. And there is even a higher threshold where you have to do international tender, where even the international bidders are allowed to bid. So everything gets advertised.
Now,
even the projects that happened.
I did not realize that international bidders are allowed to bid. Could you just elaborate?
Yeah, for certain projects, the bigger the project, the more likely would that it will actually be even open for international bidding.
Could you give me an example?
Is very big. For example, huge bridges if you are going to do a bridge for 50 million kwacha or something like that, you find that such a bridge might be open for international bidding, you know, or roads, big roads. Hence, we've got all these China, Henan, China, Guang, China, whatever, doing the roads. It's because these roads are actually big contracts and they are open for international bidding. Yeah, in line with the.
You should say that because a couple of weeks ago, I was invited to host a launch for a diaspora's a cooperative, like a wide cooperative for all diasporans, and they have put monies together. So why would you be looking for China, for instance, when there are Zambians in diaspora who've put money together and it's a colossal amount of money? Why wouldn't they be bidding for that?
Well, if they bid, definitely they will stand a better chance because they can put certain information which may not be put by foreigners, and they can. The president has talked about localization of bids and the like to favor the locals. So we basically, first of all, when we advertise, we're going to look for bidders from the wards, you know, in my constituency, first of all. And if there are no bidders from my wards, we look at the entire constituency. From there, we look at the district. From the district, we look at the neighboring districts. Then we can look into the province, and then finally the nation. And when you don't find something in the nation, then you look global. That's when now everybody else gets the chance.
Zambians in diaspora are like third or fourth on a pile. Why? Why aren't Zambians in diaspora considered as part of? You could have a Zambian in diaspora who comes from Mbabala. Why couldn't they be considered first just because they are abroad?
No, there is an opportunity for them to. If you come from Mbabala, you can partner with some of your local people in Mbabala so that you do skills transfer, knowledge transfer, but you can also do a good job and they can also earn something. So that partnership is allowed to work in partnership with some of the locals in my constituency. So you take that opportunity as the diasporians. Definitely, you come from somewhere in Zambia. All of you, you must be known by somebody either in Lusaka. If you've forgotten about your village, but at least these people in Lusaka must know you.
No one forgets about their village.
Yeah. So
if anything,
partner with some people. Yeah, partner with some people, then it will become easier for you to contribute to your country and do that knowledge and skills transfer.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, diasporans, I know you're watching, especially from the UPND Global, where I think Honorable Munsanje, you belong to the same group. You're listening to this. Put your pounds and your dollars together. You can bid for a bridge construction or reconstruction. There's already a bridge, but you want to reconstruct it. Thank you very much, Honorable Munsanje. I know it's been a short chat because we're late. I don't want to steal too much into other people's time. I'm sure we'll be meeting soon. When I come to Zambia, I literally would love to tour Southern Province. I feel embarrassed that I've never actually stepped foot in Southern Province. Would be quite a privilege to see the work that you're doing. And I'm sure we'll see you soon. Well, this has been Linda Banks on TV Bakwetu, and thank you so much for joining us. God bless you, and God bless our country. Good night.